to ensure equity, you have to discard the idea of equal opportunity. You cannot have equality.
You don't even support equal opportunity. It's so easy to be a conservative. You can just say anything. You don't have to believe anything. The status quo is already on your side. You don't have to actually do or care about anything. As a right wing, you just say all this bullshit. Make no sense at all. And you get 1 million subs on your fucking off channel. Jesus Christ, this shit is so easy. So in my endless search, my boundless quest to find the smartest of conservative intelligentsia, I have stumbled upon none other than Mr. Steven Crowder, once again, who ostensibly is supposed to be kind of a comedian guy, but also has political prescriptions that should maybe make the world a better place. I don't know if I believe that, but, we can still give it a shot. We've made a video on him before, the Gay Santa one, which I think was just really good. His takes were perfect, and mine were even better. And you can check that out. It'll be in a card or in a link or whatever. But today, I think we'll watch Crowder. Here's why kids feel hopeless today. Now, if anybody wants to be in touch with the kids, it's probably Steven Crowder, especially considering that tweet he put out about when Greta Thunberg was 16, potentially dressing up as, quote-unquote, his words, not mine, slutty Greta Thunberg when she was 16. So if anybody's in touch with the kids and how they think and feel, it's Steven Crowder, obviously. So he's probably going to have some good takes here. Let's see what's going on. Why do kids feel hopeless today?
The issue there, too, is kids aren't told they're worthless. Kids feel worthless. Now, let me tell you guys why. We actually have a culture of participation trophies, and we have a culture that tells Lizzo that she's healthy, brave, and beautiful, that all kids are wonderful, brave, and beautiful. But the reason kids feel more worthless and hopeless than ever is because I was talking with my wife about this the other day. There's only one way to develop self-esteem.
Okay.
Now, there isn't a moral sense. We talk about this as a Christian, is esteeming others first, serving others first. You'll always feel better about yourself, and you'll always...
Which is why I, as Steven Crowder, am against the government providing a social safety net for those who are, downtrodden, poor, not well-to-do, struggling. That's why, obviously in a religious sense, serving others, operating in service of others, voting even for policy and putting policy in place that would help other people like the homeless, like the lower classes, try to get a better chance at a better life. That's why Steven Crowder's all about that kind of thing, I would imagine, right?
Be more purposeful if you help people. But as far as feeling good about yourself as a teenager or an adult, it's not a participation trophy. It's not lying to yourself, convincing yourself that you're brave and healthy. Lizzo knows she's unhealthy. If a kid is to have self-esteem, there's one way that I know to do it. Get really, really good at something. Get excellent at something.
Simply get good at something. It's not entirely incorrect. Now, I don't think this is the only way, and he's posturing as if this is like the ultimate idea as to how to do this, but it is certainly true that if you try really hard to get good at a skill, a craft, or whatever it is, and you can display that skill to the world, it's a pretty good way to boost your self-esteem, your confidence levels, and all this kind of thing. But, there are a lot of things that you could practice that I don't think Steven Crowder would be super excited about kids practicing, like art, for example. We'll always shit on, for people on the right like Steven Crowder, people who go get, degrees for art and want to be artists and make fun of these starving artists who have something they want to produce in a creative outlet for the world to enjoy, and they always decry that kind of thing. So maybe don't do that. We'll see what examples he gives, though, but I don't entirely disagree that getting good at something is a good way to boost your self-confidence. It seems pretty standard. This is not a very intellectually stimulating take.
We've vilified excellence, and we've told everyone that, you know what, excellence is just as good as mediocre.
Wait, who the fuck is vilified excellence? I'm curious as to who Steven Crowder thinks we vilified when it comes to excellence, because I doubt he's going to give us actual examples of that. I would be super curious as to see what his examples would be, though. And as far as telling everybody, oh, you're, participation trophy, you're fine, excellence is as good as mediocre. First of all, I don't think we've done that either. Now, it's certainly true that there's a lot of hug boxing that goes on in a variety of different mediums. In Steven Crowder's mind, the idea is, well, you're all valid, and even if you're not the best, it's totally okay. You don't have to strive to be the best so long as you enjoy yourself and you're producing some benefit for whatever it is you're trying to do. I think the reason for wanting to have more of a mindset like that is to not discourage people from continuing to try, to go through the trial and error, to go through the process of getting better at that skill or discipline that everybody's gonna have to go through, instead of being like, no, you're dog shit, you're you're terrible. Essentially, when people hear that kind of thing, it's like, well, maybe I should just stop trying then, because this person is so, excited and aggressively telling me that I'm bad at what it is I'm trying to do. Maybe I should try something else. It's certainly possible that maybe whatever you're trying to do is not for you and you should try something else, but sometimes enough elbow grease, enough trial and error, enough pushing through the pain actually gets you to get to a point where you're pretty good at what you're trying to do. So a lot of this talk about participation trophy has always been really weird to me, because it's super nebulous anytime it's brought up by people like Steven Crowder, especially considering that the right wing and Republicans are like literally the biggest dispensary of participation trophies of any ideology. So for instance, they still fly the Confederate flag. That is a traitorous flag from the losing side of a war, but they keep it around essentially as a participation trophy. The Confederate general statues that people like Steven Crowder are super upset about getting torn down, those are participation trophies. Not only that, but people like Steven Crowder, Dave Rubin, Ben Shapiro, if we're gonna get super meta about it, being able to do their show, they don't have to rely exclusively on crowdfunding like Steven Crowder's Mug Club for his consumers that buy that. They get a lot of funding from right-wing groups as well. Just as long as they say what those groups want them to say and don't step out of line. Same for people that work at Fox News. Same for people that work at MSNBC, by the way. Liberals are not immune to this either. However, people like Steven Crowder, Ben Shapiro, etc. will very excitedly just deliver the pablum, deliver the talking points that they want to be delivering, because I don't know that they necessarily agree with anything they talk about anyway, and it's just a super easy way to make money. So right-wingers in the punditry space, in the online influencer space, have more access to participation trophies than people on the left, broadly.
I'll tell you that when I was a kid, my dad, God bless him, I know he's watching, I love you, Dad. I would get my ass kicked. I was bullied a whole lot. You know what? He saw this new thing, UFC, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So that's what we have to learn. Because I'd taken karate and all the stuff that didn't work. And so he said, we're going to teach you jiu-jitsu like Hoist Gracie, because he knew I was being bullied. And I went down to the community center, and it was the same guy who taught the karate and the kung fu was Aikakai Jitsudo that he made up. And here's the thing. After that, my mom or my dad would say, do you know what you do to that bully? You walk right up to him and you tell him that he better stop or else. And guess what? That doesn't work. Because I knew if I said or else, I'd get my ass kicked. When push comes to shove, I didn't believe in myself because I knew that I shouldn't believe in myself. I had never learned how to defend myself.
What in the fuck is this anecdote? What am I supposed... So if I try to transplant my brain into the brain of a conservative that's watching this program, not only would it not fit into their skull, or actually maybe it would, considering the lack of brain that's in the skull already, maybe it would actually have enough room in there, but probably not. Regardless, if I put my consciousness into this conservative who watches this for fun and information, I don't know what this anecdote is doing for me. Like, so Steven Crowder got bullied. His dad or mom prescribed that he learns a martial art to be able to defend himself. Tells him that you should walk up to the bully if you're being bullied and be like, you better stop or else. And then it's like, or else what? And then you get your ass kicked. I don't know where we're going with this, because it seems like the prescription was learn a martial art and then physically defend yourself. But we're saying that that didn't really work. I don't know. So let's see where the anecdote goes.
Never learned to fight, so you can teach kids words. You can teach kids to feel good about themselves, but guess what? They know it's a lie. And so when you convince people to lie to themselves, like, hey, you're brave, beautiful, and healthy. Like, oh, Tommy, you're actually a girl. Like, hey, C-.
So transphobia coming out of nowhere with no pretense or context attached to it is not out of pocket for Steven Crowder or Ben Shapiro in this case. But how is affirming somebody's gender a participation trophy? That's my question. I'm struggling to wrap my brain around this. I guess if you say that the bare minimum for being supportive of your trans kid is simply just saying that, you know, you're valid, affirming their gender identity simply through words, maybe that isn't enough. Maybe the kid would like to be on, you know, some kind of hormones, you know, testosterone or estrogen. You know, after consulting a doctor, whoever else, you go through all of that, they exhibit signs of being trans, go through the arduous process of going on reversible puberty blockers or whatever else. If you go through all those medical means to do it, I think that's even more affirming. So perhaps it is true that simply telling your trans kid that, yes, you know, you are the gender you say you are and leaving it at that is kind of a participation trophy, because as their parent, if the kid wants to do more, first of all, you should educate your kid on what more there is that could be done to affirm their gender even more. And for two, you should help facilitate that process should they want those things. So that's more of a criticism of the parents and not the kid in this case. And in regards to the, you're healthy the way you are, he referenced Lizzo earlier. For those of you who don't know, Lizzo, I believe, is a pop singer who is heavier and a big part of at least what people use her for. And I don't know if she does this herself or whatever, but a lot of the times her likeness is used in reference to the big is beautiful movement, body positivity movement, which I agree with, by the way. Obviously, I do think that everybody should exercise regardless of how big you are, but my take is simply that exercise does not equal weight loss. Exercise is simply meant to strengthen various parts of the body, but you can still be heavier and be physically fit in that way as long as you exercise. And should you want to lose weight, then, making healthy dietary changes would do more than exercise ever would. It is very easy for me to affirm somebody's appreciation of their own body should they be bigger. And in this case, it's easy for me to affirm both the fact that if you are comfortable in your skin, that's totally valid and hell yeah. And also, I do think you should still exercise. And also, here's a positive way to deliver the information should you want to slim down that you could do that. For some reason, mostly because the cruelty is the point for a lot of conservatives and right-wingers, you're just going to be fat shaming, which objectively does not help fat people.
And that's just as good as an A. Like, hey, you know what? It's not your fault. It's the fault of insert privilege here. And you try and develop self-esteem that way. Guess what? It doesn't work, because at the end of the day, that kid is lying to himself and he knows it. And so kids feel worthless. You wonder,
how often does this happen? That's my question. Shaming just doesn't really work in general, not for encouraging weight loss. Oh, absolutely. But obviously we're talking about weight loss in this case. Conservatives always blame people for things. That is also true. Conservatives are the first to say, like, oh, personal responsibility, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, self-discipline will be the way to set you free, whatever else. Work will set you free,
Same reason right now. Look at COVID. What are kids able to get good? We have a higher depression rate in adolescents and teenagers than ever, because they can't do anything.
Do you think that's because of COVID? I'm sure it's part of it, because depression is up for literally everybody because of COVID. Obviously, ostracizing yourself from your family in an attempt to make everybody healthier and not spread COVID is going to do something to people, not being able to go out as much, the collective trauma that everybody experienced when COVID first hit, and it was a lot of uncertainty, et cetera, et cetera. All this kind of stuff is obviously going to lead to higher depression for everybody. Obviously, we'll never address this as Steven Crowder because we're too much of a pussy bitch and bootlicker that absolutely gobbles up all the right-wing money that he can. They'll never admit this, but a lot of the reason why kids feel hopeless today, as the title suggests, is systemic. Their prospects for success into the future. A big reason why depression is spiking is because of the economy. A lot of kids' prospects for the future have dwindled. Student loan debt being something hung over their heads for the rest of their lives. The fact that high school diplomas are useless, essentially. You need like a bachelor's at least, an associate's degree is no longer really gonna get you much. The fact that if you get sick or if you live with a debilitating disease, you're gonna have to pay through the nose to pay for it because the healthcare system and the health insurance system in this country is dog shit. All of these things compound on each other to make the future for kids feel hopeless. It is capitalism. Imagine my shock. But obviously we're too pussy to actually bring that up as Steven Crowder, and we just live in willful ignorance of that very obviously demonstrable fact. If you look at other countries who offer better health insurance or healthcare to their people, that even pay kids to go to school, or at least pay for their tuition through taxpayer dollars, usually funded by the people that are making the most money, their rates of depression are lower. Their perceived happiness is higher. Imagine my shock. Shocking developments, I know. It seems like we don't want to address the problem and we're just gonna scapegoat something else that is not tangible, because that's, the MO of people like this. As someone whose parent was incredibly cruel about my body and forced me to diet and exercise daily despite me being 5'2" and 120 pounds, it did not encourage healthy short or long-term habits. In fact, it definitely gave me disordered eating habits. Imagine my shock. It's almost like child abuse will almost always lead to bad outcomes. And you can certainly see a lot of practices in regards to not just what Vermin is talking about in the chat, but other things like not affirming your trans kids, et cetera, as child abuse. But obviously, conservatives love abusing kids, so that, ACAP, and there's nothing new there.
They can't accomplish anything. You can't develop self-esteem unless you accomplish something. It's that simple. Look.
And you're being told to fight each other. And I'm sorry, and I'm not even...
go ahead.
But I just agree with you very much on that point, because when I was young, I was really good at drawing, but that didn't necessarily make you popular or cool, kind of a nerd. My brother was an athlete, whatever. So I learned that when I played sports with people, I just had to be worse.
I'm noticing an interesting theme, by the way, that both of the right-wingers, both of the conservatives here, are detailing points in their adolescence where they're being ridiculed or bullied. And now they're conservatives and bully other people on the regular basis. I wonder if that's somehow related. Leave, a message in the comments about that if you disagree or agree. I'm curious. I don't know.
And as I got older, that's what I learned, is if I just sat back and people were better, they'd be my friend.
Right.
And then I got into high school, and my dad was always like, you love making films, but then, it wasn't like every kid wanted to make movies then.
Right.
It was my brother calling me gay slurs, every time I held the video camera. But then I got into high school, and I failed every class, but one class I had was TV production.
Yep.
All of a sudden, I was making movies, and this teacher believed in me. And I started going to that class, and I was making all this stuff. I was going on the assembly playing, like, Bennett Brower.
I don't care about anything this guy is talking about right now.
Or, doing, like, the news every single day for our school.
Yeah.
Like,
I honestly don't care about these anecdotes.
It's Chris Farley, and it's like this guy, and he may never know it, but he's the only person that kept me in school, and in many ways may have saved my life and my dad by telling me, like, no, you are funny, you have talents.
Any
It's
Askers?
just not what you think. It's not what you want them to think it is. Because I started drinking and partying to be popular.
Is this not just a participation trophy in their mind? Maybe I wasn't fully paying attention because I truly do not give a fuck about what this guy's talking about right now. But is all that his dad did was say that, no, you are funny? That's participation trophy shit in Steven Crowder's mind.
And it worked. It worked real well.
Just like smoking.
Yeah.
Kids.
Yeah, but that one thing, though, and now look where I am now, though. I make sketches.
You're the B team for Steven Crowder, who only has a career in part because of participation trophy funding from wealthy right-wing groups.
On a show, I wouldn't be anywhere in my life if that teacher didn't sit me aside and actually believe in me. And I think a lot of these kids, you just skim over any talent that they have.
Yeah.
But how? This is contradictory to what we're saying in the beginning. This guy is contradicting Steven Crowder currently. Steven Crowder's talking about how the participation trophy culture is bad. But as far as I can tell, it's literally only been participation trophies with this guy's anecdote. I don't know, Steven Crowder. You might need to get a different co-host.
It's not painfully obvious. And I
too
think
much.
that's the sad part is nobody said, and I remember this one teacher who ended up, sorry if I'm rambling.
No, go.
But she was this
you
one
are rambling, and I'd hope you'd wrap it the fuck up.
teacher who was in a class and she was substituting for a couple weeks. And she was in improv. She told me about Second City, and my dad had talked about it.
Yeah.
Because she actually thought I was really funny, even though I was just being the class clown dick.
Right.
And she goes, you should take these classes. You're actually funny.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, you annoy the hell out of me, but I do have to sometimes... She's like, I do have to sometimes hold
she's
it
honest.
in.
Yeah.
Well, years later, I'm doing a Motor City Improv show, and my friend Adam goes, my wife's coming today. It was her. And I was doing improv with the teacher who told me that I actually had value.
Wow.
But it was two people in all those years in school that saw something in me when everybody else called me a failure, brought me down to the office, told me I was...
That's literally what conservatives do. That's the examples were being laid out. So Steven Crowder says it's bad. Oh, little Timothy, you're not actually a girl because you say you are. That's bad. That's what Steven Crowder said. So the opposite would be like, no, little Timmy, you're a boy. We're going to shame you. We're going to stop you from wanting to feel this way. We're going to subject you to all kinds of child abuse. That's the antithesis of what you're talking about here. You're talking about positive affirmations and constructive ways to make the things that you want to achieve better. That is the opposite of what we're talking about. What is going on?
But here's the thing. That started with truth. In other words, if that teacher saw that you weren't very popular and said, hey, no, you're good at hockey, wouldn't have helped you.
At all.
It helped you because she fostered something in you that
So what's interesting about this is that we're seeing a lot of takes on like, oh, well, this is what's bad. These things that these teachers or parents are doing with their kids and like their participation trophy, whatever, this is what's bad. But we're not seeing prescriptions as to what could we do better. I don't know have we seen that yet? Maybe it's hard for me to pay attention because this shit is so boring. But I don't know that I've seen much in the way of this is what society could do better.
that she knew you could become good at. The problem is now we have so many, in trying to be fair, we have teachers who spend more time trying to convince a kid who hasn't done anything worthy of praise that they are worthy of praise rather than finding the kids who are either worthy of praise or trying to develop something worthy of praise. That's the
Wait, so just screw over the kids that are not as good at what they're trying to do? Ignore them? don't pay as much attention to them. That doesn't seem like a good way to make a kid feel less hopeless. Now you could say like, oh, well, maybe the teacher doesn't have enough time to cater to every single child. Pay teachers more and hire more of them. Reduce class size by hiring more teachers and paying them more. But you won't advocate for that either.
The problem with the participation trophy, and I'm using that just as an emblem. That's the problem with a society that says, hey, you know what? It's not about equal opportunity. It's about equity. Because guess what? If you try...
This guy doesn't know what equity is. Not only is left-wing, like even liberal ideology, but particularly leftist ideology, not about equality of outcome, it's about equality of opportunity. Currently in this country, the United States of America, you do not have equality of opportunity depending on your socioeconomic class you're born into, what race you are, what gender identity or sexuality that you have that might be contradictory to societal norms. You do not have equality of opportunity at a base level in this country because of our health insurance and healthcare system, because of systemic racism and bigotry, because of the lack of funding for higher education for kids, especially those who are the child of parents that aren't particularly wealthy, because of the fact that childcare is exorbitantly expensive and it's difficult for parents to actually be able to go to work and also support their kids. There's a lot of different things we could do here to try to help these people through the awesome power of the government that Steven Crowder rails against, the spooky socialism communism. Very curious how we'll point out all of these problems, never give any actual concrete prescription like I just have given several of, and then pretend to be the ones with the correct take on the issue.
And enforce equity. You have to discard. This is why equity, by the way, the idea of ensuring equity, and I'm going to leave on this, the idea of ensuring equity comes from a Marxist, and when I say Marxist, godless ideology.
You're right.
When we come from, we're talking about guns here. Look, gun-free zone, you know, we've done so many segments. Go watch I'm Pro-Gun, change my mind. I think...
Where the fuck does the gun shit come from? Listen, I'm also pro-2A, but I do also agree with common sense gun regulation. I am a big fan of firearms. I enjoy going to the range. I don't know where we're going with this. We got to religion and guns on this topic about why kids feel hopeless. Listen, if we keep people like Steven Crowder and people who have ideologies like Steven Crowder in power in regards to our elected representatives, et cetera, and they don't do literally anything to make kids feel more hopeful, and in fact contribute to the major reasons why kids feel hopeless, bringing up guns at the end here might not be the best play considering the proliferation of school shootings in this fucking country from hopeless kids. All right, Steven Crowder, you might want to rephrase and think about your optics a little bit better.
I think I've said all I need to say about that. If you believe the bullshit they're peddling right now, there may be no hope for you. Go watch those segments. But we are talking about equity, and this all stems from that. Equity stems from Marxism. Marxism is a distinctly godless ideology. And what does that mean? To ensure equity, you have to discard the idea of equal opportunity. You cannot have equality.
You don't even support equal opportunity. It's so easy to be a conservative. You could just say anything. You don't have to believe anything. The status quo is already on your side. Capital is already on your side. You don't have to actually do or care about anything because capital will take care of itself because that's the only thing you answer to because it has its own power and it justifies itself. You don't have to do anything. As a right wing, you just say all this bullshit. Make no sense at all. Not even make any prescriptions as to how to make the things that you're talking about being problems better, and you get 1 million subs on your fucking off channel. Jesus Christ, this shit is so easy. This is a participation trophy. Your entire fucking career is a participation trophy.
You have to discard the idea of equal opportunity. You cannot have equality. You cannot have equal opportunity and ensure equity.
Well, I mean, we never expect much, but I certainly got less than even what I expected. All we got was, this is bad, society is doing bad here, but I'm not going to tell you how to make it better. I didn't even get I was excited for what prescriptions Crowder might have in regards to making things better, addressing the problems that he describes, but all we really got was ridicule fat people and be transphobic to your kids. That was really it. He didn't address the problem and barely identified a real one, yeah. Par for the course for Steven Crowder. That'll get you 85,000 views in a day. Let's go. Like, if you're gonna, and especially this, like, so this is what? When does this guy's spiel start? Almost 3 minutes of this guy, literally just a non sequitur about some anecdote that literally nobody cares about, that actually contradicted part of Steven Crowder's argument. You need a better co-host, my man. This man is weighing you down. Why? I don't even know why he's here. That shit was boring as fuck. Anyway, Imagine my shock. Steven Crowder, absolute brainlet. This guy's position on this show is also a participation trophy. This guy is being told, yes, you're funny. Yeah, you're great. You're doing great. Even in the anecdotes that he gave. And apparently that saved him, you know, in his early years or whatever. The only reason he's on this show is because of that. Because this entire 3-minute stretch was completely useless to the broader point of the video that even Steven Crowder was failing to make. God damn, dude, it's easy to be a conservative. There's a chance he believes everything he's saying? I doubt it. I don't think that these people are smart enough to actually believe anything that they say. That's why they've decided to pick the ideology that is the status quo. A full-throated support of capital and stomping down on minority groups and maintaining the imbalance of power in this country and making sure there's no equality of opportunity. Because that's the easiest way to make easy money on the right, and it's the easiest way, especially as a white man, to play ball, essentially. Conservatives are watching this without any critical thought and are already pre-motioned biases. Yeah, I guess you don't have to try too hard if you're making content for conservatives as well. But I mean, at least it could have been funny. There was no jokes even made here, really. There weren't even attempts to be funny in this one. And both of these people call themselves comedians. I guess not every video has to be funny, but if it's not going to be funny, at least it could be informative in some way, and it wasn't even that, even with bad information. The Irish prescriptive device, we need to address those things with a duopoly, will never do it. I do agree with that. We need a third party. Unfortunately, before we can have a third party, we need the infrastructure that supports one, and currently we don't have that. So I agree with ranked choice voting, but we're going to have to get it federally before we can run candidates for president. We're going to have to get it state by state before we can run candidates for senator or House of Representatives. We're going to have to get it state and local, especially first. So I do agree with trying to get through ballot initiative or through petitioning your elected representatives, ranked choice voting, or some other kind of proportional voting system at the local, county, city, state, and then eventually federal level. But we can't just skip those steps and run third parties right now. Third parties will not be viable so long as we continue to have first past the post voting system, and it seems incredibly difficult to change it. So we're going to have to get the ball rolling bottom up, not top down. So I don't really care about talking about third parties ever. I would rather just focus on getting the ranked choice voting shit moving. Third parties are useless currently. I don't know how conservatives find this shit entertaining. Well, this is kind of like shit you put on when you're watching your wife get fucked in the in the corner of the room when you're whacking it. You just have it in your earphones to stifle your own cries. This video's conure callout is Lurtz. Thanks so much for the continued support and for being a valued regular member of the live stream chat. I really do appreciate that. If you'd like to be the next conure callout, all you gotta do, brother man, is follow me on Twitter at ConureCC. Retweet my video links when they go live. You know the goddamn deal. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Put all notifications on when you shoot your tobacco into that goddamn spittoon bell thing. Leave a like if you'd like. Comment something affirming of goddamn American values that we hold near and dear to our hearts as red-blooded patriots down below, and I'll see you when I see you, partner. Take it easy.